What's going on, guys? Vulkan here, and we are officially on day 4 of the New World beta, and I've been having a blast going through the game again. But as I've been playing and answering questions for folks in chat, I'm noticing a lot of people struggling with the same stuff, and I wanted to get a video together to help out some of those people who are stuck, or maybe give you some of that info ahead of time in case you haven't played yet so you don't run into those same struggles. So here's a quick video with a list of things that I saw frequently asked, and hopefully this helps you guys out. So by far the largest question that I saw asked most of the time was, where do I find hemp, fibers, linen, etc.? Where do I find something? And this, like I said, was the most asked question over the first few days of beta. And to find certain resources, it's very, very simple. You can open your map and click on resource locations. This is going to show you what type of environment that resource can be found in. So let's use hemp, for example, because this was the one that I saw most often. It's mostly located in the grasslands. And if you're curious what it looks like, you can press K, which is going to open up your trade skills, and then click on harvesting, and it'll actually show you a picture of hemp. They're these tall purple flowers. Now, the second part of this is where to find fibers or linen. So if you head to the crafting station for the resource you need, so again, let's use linen as an example, then you can go to the loom and then hover over the crafting material to see where they're derived from. It's down here at the bottom. So fibers are from hemp plants. So now we can use our map to find those hemp plants and then our trade skills to see what they look like. So this whole cycle can be used for any crafting material or crafted item. You just need to check those spots to see what you need, where it comes from, and how to find it. Once you have this down, it makes things extremely easy. The second question I saw pretty much all the time was, when do we get to pick a faction? How do I pick a faction? This one's super easy as well. You're going to pick a faction between level 8 and 10, depending on how quickly you progress through the main story quests. But don't worry, you will eventually choose a faction. You can't avoid it. You have to choose one at some point in time. So follow the game, it'll actually lead you there. Now, the third biggest question I saw asked was, what is the quickest way to level up? How are people already in the 40s and 50s? So this one's tricky because it can be done a few different ways. In order to get a ton of levels really quickly, there is the classic super boost method. You have one person in your guild that you basically feed resources to. They stand in front of that town project board and just complete quests back to back to back to back. And the thing is, this is a very, very quick way to level, right? You can get a ton of experience very quickly, but this isn't viable. It takes a ton of resources to complete, and only one person gets to reap the benefits while an entire guild or company feeds them resources. So really, this isn't a viable leveling method, in my opinion. And besides, New World has made some changes. The quests will now reset every 30 minutes instead of every 10 minutes. So this is no longer as quick as it used to be. So the main way to level quickly is to simply pick up all of your town projects, all of your faction quests, get as many as you can, and then while you're doing those, go out and do your side quests and your main quests. Knock out as many of them as possible, and then try to grab the easy town projects or the faction quests like gathering materials or crafting a special item. These give huge experience, they're often the easiest to do, and the cool thing here is if you don't like any of these town projects, then you can actually accept the task and then immediately abandon it, and this will allow a new one to spawn once that cooldown timer is up. But be aware, this is on a rotating 30-minute timer, so sometimes you have to wait the full 30 minutes, other times you can abandon it and it's going to reset here in a couple minutes. So keep that in mind, but be aware you can abandon the hard ones or the ones that take the most time and just focus on those simple ones. Now, this is the fastest way to level up, in my opinion, at the moment. If you do want to do PvP, I believe you also get a small experience bonus for flagging PvP as well and picking up those faction quests for PvP. So let's move into the next one, and that is, what is the best weapon combo to use? This is a highly subjective question, but I saw it all of the time in chat. New World is still in beta, and we're still discovering what weapons perform better than others. Now, back in the preview, the hatchet was hands down the best weapon by a huge margin. It had the quickest attacks, dealt the most damage, you had Berserker, it was nuts. But these days, it's much closer than that. So I would recommend you figure out what you want to play in terms terms of role, and then make your decision from there. Because right now, you really can't go wrong. Everything is somewhat viable. So let's go down kind of the role list here. If you want to play a tank, then you need heavy armor and a sword and a shield. I'd recommend a warhammer or a great axe as your second weapon for extra control. And remember to slot in a carnelian stone, a carnelian gem, into your weapons. That way you can have extra taunt. If you want to play a healer, then life staff all the way. Obviously, you can go protector or healer on this tree. I'd pair this with an ice gauntlet or a bow for some extra AoE damage if you want to help kind of burn down the boss if you need to. Now, if you want DPS, obviously there's multiple flavors. If you want to go pure melee DPS, you can roll a rapier and a hatchet for some extra fast damage and bleeds. A hybrid DPS can mix a hatchet or a spear with a musket or a bow for some good ranged and up close damage, as well as a little bit of crowd control. And lastly, you have pure ranged. This can be a mix of fire staff or your bow and musket if you want to take advantage of all of the high damage and affliction skills that both of these weapons have. So when it comes to New World, there are just a ton of variations right now, and you really can't look at a certain weapon combo and say, yep, this one right here is S tier, everything else is terrible compared to it. I need to roll this one because it's absolute meta. The closest thing to a meta we have right now is one melee weapon, one ranged weapon. That's about it. So I want to hear from you guys though. Let me know what weapon combo you're really enjoying in the comments section below. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And that is a very simple one that I see in almost every single MMORPG that I play. How do I hide my helmet or change a weapon skin? So this one is extremely straightforward and very easy to do. Go into your inventory and right click on an item and then click change skin. You can choose none, you can choose hide headwear, or you can choose the skin that you want to apply. Very simple, and this can be done on anything that you see on your character. Next up, how do I buy faction gear? So to find and buy faction gear, you need to be at least level 15. Once you are, head to your faction leader in whatever settlement you're at and open their window like you would if you were going to accept some quests. In the upper right-hand corner, click on Buy Rewards. This is the shop that sells faction gear specific to your faction for a special currency that only works for whatever faction you're a part of. Now, there are multiple ranks of gear, and as you complete your main story quest, you'll have to face trials to unlock the next tier. Once you do, you can unlock more powerful weapons, more powerful gear, and if you manage to reach your faction reputation cap, you're most likely ready to take on that next trial, so be sure to keep an eye on your main quest storyline. So keep leveling, these are going to unlock naturally. Let's move into number 7. So number 7 is, where do I get fish fillets and fish oil? This is another big question that I always get. So you get these from fishing, but you need to salvage the fish after you've caught it. So if you catch a small trout, go into your inventory, hold S and click on the fish. It's going to salvage it and break it down. It's going to give you multiple fillets and a chance at some oil. Number 8 is a big one. How do I get Azoth? So Azoth is a resource that's used for fast travel, and I've seen lots of folks asking how to get more of it. And now this is mostly given as a reward for completing your main quests and your side quests. You can see it listed here as giving me 100 once I complete this step. And because you don't get this stuff all the time, or it's not readily available, be thoughtful about when you want to fast travel and only use it when you need to travel great distances. So moving into the next one, what do the different colored numbers mean when I'm attacking? Now I'm going to get deeper into a combat video later, but for now I can give you guys a high overview. These numbers mean how effective your attacks are. So blue with a down arrow means your attack is not very effective and the enemy has a resistance to that damage type. White means you're dealing normal damage and it's neutral. Yellow with an up arrow means you're dealing extra damage because they're weak against that damage type. And if you hit an enemy in the back, you're going to automatically crit that enemy and the damage will show as a slightly larger orange font. Now, each weapon deals a different damage type. So for instance, swords deal slashing damage, while a heavy sword attack deals thrust damage. Warhammers deal striking damage, and some enemies are weak against slashes, others are resistant. So feel free to explore and learn more about what works against what type of enemy faction. Like I said, I'll have a deeper combat video later, but for now, this way you know what you're looking for and what all of these different colors mean, because it can make or break a dungeon run, or if you're fighting against a boss and you keep seeing blue numbers, try switching up your weapons. That way you can get some extra damage and make the fight a little bit shorter. Last up, we have this is something that I like to have, and that is extra ability cooldown timers. So What this is going to do is display an extra cooldown timer for your skills right beneath your character. This way you can keep your eyes on your character and dodge and be kind of in the moment and not have to look away at your skill bar to see when those skills are available again. And this has been extremely helpful when I'm tanking or I'm healing, because I can keep my eyes on the boss. I can keep my block up, I can dodge, and I don't have to divert my eyes down to the corner to make sure that my skills are coming off cooldown. So it's just one of those things that makes my life a little bit easier. Okay guys, that wraps up all of these kind of tips and tricks. I hope that you enjoyed this quick video on some of the things that I wish I knew before playing. Hopefully a few of these helped you guys out there, but let me know in the comment section below how you guys are enjoying the game, what weapon combos you're liking, and what is your favorite thing about the game so far, and what is the thing you dislike the most about the game so far. So thank you guys, as always. I appreciate all the support. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.